it's almost like forcing yourself to live through a scenario that you haven't been in.
Yeah.
And then you actually, is that a possibility?
Absolutely, that's practice.
Ladies?
That's practice.
Okay.
You know, you're training yourself to be able to deal with a scenario as it arises. We all do it. You know, you find yourself like going through talking, like you're thinking about a conversation that you're going to have with a person, how it's going to go, and they're going to say this, and then I'm going to say that, and you know, you're practicing it. You know, but what you want to do is make sure you're staying on the highest like vibration possible. So when you're practicing any scenario, like an example of a woman who's being abused, you want to see yourself as overcoming this thing. You want to see yourself standing up. You want to see yourself in a powerful position. And as you practice that, like your brain does not know the difference, y'all. It does not know the difference.
That's a key thought process
Between your imagination and what is really happening. And that's why it's so important to be intentional about what you think about, what you say, and what you focus on. Because that's just the way we're built.
Hold on, break that back down again slowly, each one, please. Think about and say and what you focus on. Break each one of those down.
Okay, so be intentional in your thoughts. You know, so when you think of yourself, like an example for in a scenario like you just gave us, you envision yourself, you think of yourself as powerful in that scenario. You know, you're very intentional about like what you focus on. You're not going to focus on what's going bad in your day. You want to focus on what's going good in your day, because if you focus on what's going bad, it's like in your mind, your brain is saying all bad, all bad. The brain is primitive. Spirit is above that, but your brain, where all these emotions and all that are processed, is a primitive organ. And a lot of what it was used for before, it's not useful for us anymore, because we are not living in the wild anymore. We don't hunt anymore. We don't live in a tribal life anymore, which I feel like we should, but that's another show, whole another show. You know, but we don't live in communities like we used to. We don't do any of those things. You know, so you have to just be very, very careful about what you focus on, or else you trigger your brain, which is primal, which is trying to keep the physical body alive, which sometimes conflicts with the spirit.
So, with that being said, can you also be absorbing in a... So here's the thing. When we were over there meditating, we were sitting still, palms up or palms down, and we were breathing at a certain pace and a rhythm. What we were taking in, though, were your words. And we were actually able to give ourselves, from your words, a vision.
Yes.
It might be a little too deep for y'all, but just think about when you sit on the couch and you watching TV. You're literally, your body is taking in something in a meditative state, I'd almost assume, if you're watching, I don't know, Love and Hip Hop. You know what I'm saying? And now you've taken those scenarios into your soul, and you see those scenarios in your real life when it's not really going on.
Exactly.
See,
so that's all about
and that's the
energy.
thing too about
That
our
bad
reptilian
energy.
brain. We think that it's okay to be alone, or that we are loners. No one is truly an introvert to the point where they don't need connection. Because even when you're by yourself, if you're watching TV, you're still connecting with something.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Either the reality TV shows or a basketball game, you still need that connection. So breathing, eating, sleeping, arousal, and connection is all part of our reptilian brain, and we all need that.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to know that when you're trying to heal from trauma, or when you're meditating, if you don't feel safe, whether you're being guided by a therapist or you're trying to do this on your own, you're going to be triggered by that atmosphere that you go back to.
Yes.
Because all your brain knows is abuse.
Yeah.
So if you're not safe or in a level of understanding where you can handle going back into that situation, it's more
you can be triggered in the moment. That's why now that's a whole other topic we're on right now.